Hi guys, today is the 25th of September 2019 at 46 minutes past 11 in the morning over here in the UK, and as it's the 25th I want to talk about the number 25 in this video. So in the hangman we've got the X, Roman numerals for 20, and then a V in possible bubble writing. Could be a VI or an IV, but today's the 25th, so let's focus on that 25th. We've got the hangman, but also, as well as being the hangman, possible reference to Jeffrey Epstein, is also a circuit which is not connected. This being the light bulb, this being the light bulb switches, switch not connected to the battery, so forth, giving us a reference to no power. But also the head of the hangman with the tongue sticking slightly outside of the head circle gives us a reference to the letter Q. And obviously you've got QAnon, but I'm thinking Q for the Queen. We've also got the possibility of the word Florida being made up in this hangman. There's plenty of, ways of bringing that out. So I'm thinking Florida and London, those two locations, 25th, possible reference to the Queen, possible reference to some sort of power outage. The shark itself, as well as encoding the numbers 27, 23, it's also got the number 25 in there. If you follow from the tip of the bottom of the shark's mouth and follow the lines around to there, you get the number 2. Then you've also got an exaggerated number 5 just here, which is also the number 3, but the other way you've got the number 5 attached to the number 2 just in there. So another reference to 25. Obviously the shark's head makes up the pound coin symbol. Inside the shark's eye, which is the line that goes across the pound coin symbol, there's the letter L, or an upside down 7. If it's L, could be London. If it's 7, could be reference to the Roman calendar month of September, which we're in. We've also got a possibility of the shark fin here making the number 7. But when I was looking at it, I was thinking this shark here could actually possibly be a map as well, in a strange way. I was kind of looking at the way they've kind of emboldened this line on the shark's nose here, and just thinking geographically and taking this image apart, I'm thinking this could possibly be like a barrier, for example the Thames barrier, and the shark fin here could actually be in the middle of what would be the River Thames, just a part of it. This whole shark's body here actually being, the River Thames, with a shark fin in the middle, suggesting a submarine in the River Thames. Now, as hard as that is to comprehend, at the point in the video where we go outside of the classroom, we have a reference to what I've often... Sorry, let me turn the volume down. To what I've often interpreted as Big Ben outside here. Big Ben is under construction at the moment. It was stopped at 12 o'clock on the 21st of August, I think it was 2017. It's supposed to be closed for around 4 years for renovation. But here, this part here, appears to be like a tsunami wave moving towards the Big Ben, around the height of it as well. At the same time, in the background, you've got the open mouth, the eye, and the shark's head, which appears in the middle of this larger structure, which appears to be a tsunami as well. Not to mention the fact that obviously the school that George Bush was in on 9/11 was in Florida, so I'm thinking the school is an important part of the video to represent location. So I'm thinking down here we're looking at Florida location, and over here we've got London. So again, those two locations popping up again. But going back to the classroom again, just give me one moment. Play it from here. So we've got the 25th, possible references to London and Florida, both in the hangman, which, as I've explained, represents a number of things, and also in the shark, which represents a submarine, but also appears to have the number 23, 27, and 25 encoded into it, as well as the pound coin symbol, and the possible representation of the River Thames, Thames barrier, shark fin, which will represent submarine, which kind of connects to what's going on outside of the classroom. So it's just reiterated again. As we move further into the video, as we talked about before, this marking here could be the number 2, or it could also be the number 5. Perhaps it's both, 25. So thinking of that, we've got the 25th in the shark, 25th in the hangman, 25th on the eyebrow over here, and on the other eyebrow we've got a figure laying on his back who appears to represent Donald Trump with the hairline. But it doesn't have to be Donald Trump. It could be someone who looks like Donald Trump or someone who resembles Donald Trump. And I'm drawn to our own Prime Minister, Boris Johnson, who is having his own turmoil over here at the moment with the Supreme Court calling his actions illegal, saying he lied to the Queen. Obviously we've got the Q from the hangman in the head shape there. So there's a lot of references to the UK popping up. So it could very well be that it's not Donald Trump and it's Boris Johnson. I'm keeping an eye on both today on the 25th. I've also noticed that down here, this marking I hardly ever talk about, the darker mark underneath what could be the 7 or the L, actually has a split that goes this way. Apologies, I can't do much about this. And a line that comes up and another split that goes there. You can see in the middle there's just a gap there. Well, that makes the letter F, doesn't it? And then if this is an L, an upside down L, that's FL, which would be the 2 letters that indicate Florida. So keeping an eye on Florida, keeping an eye on London, Boris Johnson, Donald Trump, 25th of September. Obviously with the September reference, it could be that this mark over here could be, you know, an upside down 7, which will give us a reference to the Roman 7th month of September. So an upside down 7 for September, a 2 and a 5 for the 25th, and then an F and an L in there for Florida, but also the L could represent London. These are just interpretations, as I always say, so please bear that in mind when you're, you know, putting forth your comments. But even here, just in his hair up here, we have 1, 2, and then the number 5. So obviously that could again be a reference to 25. Not to skip over information that I see as I'm seeing it, we do have the D which sits just above, so that could be obviously December 25th, which is, you know, the day that people celebrate Christmas. So bear that in mind. But as I say, I put all the interpretations out there so that I'm not missing out on anything. So 25th of September, 25th of December, it could be, but still, because today's the 25th, we'll keep an eye out just in case. Aside from that, the number 25 appears again in this scene. Obviously I've talked about how this scene could connect to the UK, the blue and red colour scheme. Well, blue, red and white, obviously that's a colour scheme for a lot of countries, but the UK is one, the United States is another main one. We've also got the blue and red representing emergency colours, which would be, you know, police, ambulance, that kind of stuff. We've got exit in the background suggesting leave, but along with the blue and red colour scheme, B and R, we've got a potential for the word Brexit being formed, which obviously gives us a reference to the UK. Over here, as I mentioned before, it could be we've got 1, 1 and 7, giving us a reference to 27, but it could also be that the 1 and 1 represents the number 25 with the missing, you can't see what goes on behind here. So it allows you to have this as 1 and 1, but also to have this as the number 5 if it does join behind here, but we just don't know because that's the way they wanted it to be. And obviously in front of that, we've got this character with a big hole in his head, which to me suggests some sort of, you know, incident, perhaps involving a gun. We've talked about Donald Trump, but now I've also got the reference to Boris Johnson. You know, you could call him Donald Trump's twin. The UK and the United States, the, you know, the twin countries, that special relationship, the whole thing, they love the twin system. The colour lily, as talked about many times, represents death. 25 with the hangman, 25 with the calla lily, both of those representing death. 25 on the eyebrow with a man lying on his back, again representing death. So, you know, there's a lot of references to the 25 and death. So we got to keep an eye out today. But also, if nothing does occur today where we can say it's connected to this video, keep an eye on the 25th of October, the 25th of November, and the 25th of December, of course. I think that is the end of what I wanted to kind of bring to you today, just to show you that the number 25 is repeated in here. It doesn't necessarily mean the 25th of September, but because today is the 25th, and we've had so much going on over the last couple of weeks where we could say they have connected to this video, I thought it was important that I put out this video, even if it is on the day, you know, potentially too late to warn a lot of people if something was to happen, but I'm doing it anyway. So you guys, with all that said, have a good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and may the Heavenly Father bless you.